Been a wee bit on the busy side lately, not just work and family, but our drag racing shows All Out Live and the Call Out have been taking up a lot of my time too. We've spread our wings staff-wise and brought on some help. In fact, one of our guys, Robbie, is working on a new editing machine right off to my right. Say hi, Robbie.
What up?
But I like that one. But that's not all. Our broken water meter led to a huge water bill, it turns out. Our water meter hasn't been working for quite some time, and the water company's been estimating our bills, and we had a leak about a year ago. And when I saw the same bill show up, I knew something was wrong, so I called them up, and they're like, yeah, we've been estimating it. The water company came out and fixed it, but they didn't fix my bill. Yet, anyway. Point two in this trifecta of suffering is the TV that I bought my mom as a gift died. Took it apart to see if there was an easy fix. There wasn't anything obvious, all the circuitry checked out, but eventually I traced it to a dead LED chip in the backlight. At that point I figured I'd just buy her a new TV, but me being me and looking at the TV parts all over the place, the thought occurred I'd have to figure out how to dispose of it. So I decided to dive deeper. I pulled the glued in panel apart, traced the dead LED. It was just one chip out of a bunch spread out over 3 strips. Now the backlights are wired in series like Christmas lights, so if one go out, they all go out. Anyway, I didn't have an exact replacement on hand, but I did have a white LED that was kind of close color-wise. Physically, it wasn't even close, but electrically, it was almost identical. So I bodged it in, managed not to break the panel or the ribbon cables going to the panel, and somehow, when I put it together, it miraculously worked. Then came the trifecta of misery. Using my super dad hearing, I noticed the heat pump didn't sound right and wasn't warming up the house. Fortunately, I fixed the pellet stove a month earlier when it broke down, so we didn't freeze to death. And that's where we pick up our sordid tale of misadventure. Let's go. Alright, so this is one of the reasons why I've been held up here. This thing froze over. I don't know if you can see in there. This is actually the next day after we dumped tons of water through it to try to just free up the fan blades. Even the fan blades were frozen. Outside of it's still frozen. It's in the 40s right now. Took off the side panel. And it clearly looks like something built a nest on the starting capacitor. I'm gonna blow that out and we're gonna take a look. Oh my God. It's a dead mouse. That's your problem. You made a poor choice. That's kind of gross. Now that we've blown the mouse corpse out, you can see where the moment of death happened right there. And there's a bunch of fur all over the place, and that's apparently where he gutted out. Unfortunately for him, apparently this mouse makes the same level of decisions that I do. I guess we're gonna try the old, contactor trick next. There's the contactor right there. You just push the center of it and see if the thing fires up. I'm gonna go inside and throw the breaker and let's find out. Alright, this whole thing is now live. I've got rubber gloves and a chopstick. Let's see if we can work this in here and see if it would help if I Yep, still works. Fires right up. I think I heard the compressor kick on too. At least I hope I did. Could it really just have been that simple as removing the corpse? I kind of doubt it, but let's find out. Here's the thermostat. I've turned the system, all of the switches on. Let's set it to heat. Hold is on. Well, that sounded better for the first time. Let's go see if it's working. Well, no signs of life out here, so we know this whole unit basically works. I'll double check the wire and make sure nothing's been chewed through by our friend. I don't know if you can see all the way back there. Yeah, it's literally a mouse nest of wires. Apparently our friend got a little hungry and chewed through some wires. Let's try to reconnect those and see if that can fix things. One thing I do want to say, this is not intended to be a how-to video or anything like that. It's just what I'm finding here. So, please don't do this. And, I don't want to be killed by electricity. I can think of much less dumb ways to die. So not only have I killed the breakers inside, both for the air handler and for this unit, but I'm also going to pull the disconnect out, which is, in this case, it's this handle. There you go. So that's it. And because I'm hyper paranoid, I'm probably going to take a meter reading just to make sure everything in there is completely dead before I go sticking my hands in there. Because, you know, this stuff is no joke. 240 volts at 30 amps will kill you. Not might, but will. So I'm going to go and start connecting the wires. I don't think you need to see that because it's going to be impossible for me to shoot it anyway. All right, I wasn't going to shoot anymore out here, but this is actually kind of interesting. So the reason why it froze over was because this is the reversing valve here. This is what actually switches it to defrost, so this snowstorm doesn't actually happen. But as it turns out, the wires that the little bastard chewed through are for the reversing valve, for the solenoid that actually does the reversing. That's what this thing does. So let's just see. Oh, look. The blue wire, let's see if I can get in there, probably not. Still intact, but barely. You can see all the insulation's been chewed off that. So I'm going to be replacing those. Frickin' mouse. So am I poking around in here to see exactly what's been damaged. I'm just going to say, good help is hard to find. I'm looking at the ground wire. You know, I checked to make sure the voltage is dead and everything in here. It's cut off in 2 different places, plus the air handler breaker is off, so even 24 volts, which actually is the control voltage, but I think that that is also part of the problem. It's a good likelihood that with the shorted out wires there, the 24 volt fuse, hopefully it's just the fuse is blown in the air handler. Hopefully not even that. Hopefully everything will work once everything's reconnected here. But my point is, good help is hard to find. This is the ground wire. Yeah, good job, installers. We're gonna fix that too. All right, now I'm really starting to get irritated. The people who installed this thing clearly didn't give a damn, because this is the cable running to the fan motor. It's clearly supposed to go in that cutout. I'm sorry it's out of focus. It's very difficult to do this. But yeah, they made no effort to put it in there, which, you know, explains why, you know, screws are at odd angles and everything else. And yet again, I found some more crappy and dangerous work. This is a 240 volt line. It just fell out of the power connector. Literally just fell out. You can tell by the shape of the wire that this was not properly wire nutted on, so I'm going to undo all of these connections and do them right. I've already done the ground, fix that. I'm going to do this one too. They apparently stripped too much off the power line here and just wrapped electrical tape around that. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but 240 volts, what is this thing rated at? 18 amps. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about any of this. So, you know, whatever happened to America? So it's also worth noting that the only company to ever service this thing is the company that installed it. And they had to come out at one point in time. You see that light like almost band on that copper pipe, the smaller one further down? That is where they first put this temperature sensor switch, the thing with the purple wires coming out of it that's been moved all the way down there. And they put it on diagonally, and of course it promptly fell off, so I called them and made them come out and move it. So these guys are not having a particularly good track record. But, you know, again, it is what it is. So the proprietary replacement fuse for the 24 volt control circuit showed up yesterday. I put it in, and what do you know? The heat pump fired right up. So now, with our new staff, say hi, Robbie.
What up?
I should be able to make some headway on what we all care about, the race car and the electric Vortec. More videos on that coming real soon, I promise.